welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. My most popular video ever on YouTube was my original craft room tour, and it was time to update it. I've moved things around a bit, I've changed it up a bit, and I'm always getting asked about various things in my craft room and storage and so on, so I am going to show you that today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Liz Shannon. I live in Southampton in the UK, married to Michael. Been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm now in my 12th year altogether of being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm 6 years full-time running my Stampin' Up! Business. As well as teaching my lovely ladies, my lovely customers, usually face-to-face, but I'm filming this in COVID times, so at the moment we are doing classes by post and online. I also offer classes to other Stampin' Up! Demonstrators and people who want to make lovely projects with all the instructions and videos and things as well. So if you're interested in that, get in touch with me. There's my details below. If you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, tell me that, because I have a special place for you, not only in my heart, but also online as well, with some things especially for demos. And you can find me online generally as Elizabeth's Craft Room. So that is a blog. You'll find me as a blog as Elizabeth's Craft Room. You will also find me on Facebook as Elizabeth Craft Room, and increasingly on other social media, especially at the moment, at this time of filming. So thank you for coming along. Let's get on with the tour. I'm going to do a quick whiz round for people who just want a quick whiz round, and then a little bit more detail for those of you who want to know what's in the cupboards. Thanks for visiting Elizabeth's Craft Room today. Off we go. So let's start off with a quick look round. If that's all you're wanting, we'll do that first, and then I'll go into more detail for those of you who are interested. So this part of my craft room is where I sit and work in front of the computer, and so all that kind of area is kind of stationary. This is storage, and you will see I have loads of storage in here. This was designed by one of my team who also designs kitchen, but she understood craft. So I got to have exactly what I wanted, and right to the ceiling, sorry about the light there, but right to the ceiling I have storage all the way around. So I'm a standing stamper, so although I sit to use the computer for when I am cutting and standing, I have a lovely big space to work in. But if you have ever seen any of my messy craft room photos, you will know I am capable of filling up every tiny bit of this. And more storage over there, some open storage, and then my ink pads, and that there is a pull-out double bin with extra storage in there as well. So, if that's all you wanted to see, thank you for coming to Elizabeth's Craft Room. If you want to see more and know more about what you're looking at here, hang on in there. I am going to go into detail. So, we'll start over here on the wall with some old style punches and some retired punches. Some of these, and a couple of duplicates as well. Some of these I will never, ever, ever, ever part with because they're just too useful. So that's why I have got some retired punches, because you will see mostly in my craft room I do not have anything that's retired, because I am a business demonstrator, so I can only use things that are current. So this hanging file folder is things that I reach for all the time, paperwork wise, some social media stuff, some ordering, order forms and things like that, some things to do with my team. Also hanging up my aprons there. Across the top, things to make me smile, so some family pictures and some memorabilia from Stampin' Up! Through the years, and then some pieces that I refer to on a regular basis. So this is stuff that I'm doing right now that I look up at, and my lovely Mac, which I couldn't manage without. Something else I couldn't manage without is my Erin Condren planners. I live and die by these. They have everything written down in them. My brain actually retains almost nothing. So I write everything that I'm doing, and I've got some checklists there as well. And this is all stationery, basically. And who doesn't love stationery, especially when it's pretty? So yeah, I have stationery and a bit of Disney down there as well. And then my whacking great big enormous laser printer, which I use because it is a little bit cheaper to print, although the ink cartridges are scary price wise. Okay, so now we come on to the storage, and this is two big cupboards. The first one is normally completely full of classes that I'm ready to teach, so they are already designed and cut and in there. And the reason those are empty at the moment is those classes are already packed and ready for my lovely customers to do in December. And the new goodies haven't arrived yet, so I have not done anything new, but normally this is full. And then down here I've got box storage, because quite often I have a lot of classes on the go. As I say, normal times I will be teaching face to face, at the moment by post and video. So on this next cupboard at the back, I've got backs of designer paper for packaging. We've got some grid paper. I've got designer series paper, and the box below has got various craft supplies in it, all sorts of things. Then we've got the colours family. So I've got all my neutrals there. And below, pretty, I've got my in colours, brights, subtles and regals. And these are uncut or card base cuts. So these are uncut pieces generally. You may get a half card in there, but that's what's in there. You will see where I keep my scraps as we go round. Next drawer is full of envelopes. Then we've got foil, window sheet, some 12 by 12 designer paper stack and glimmer, but we haven't got that in enough colours at the moment. Please, Stampin' Up, bring me back my silver and gold glimmer and my dazzling diamonds glimmer. And then we've got brights, neutrals, regals, subtles, and a complete lack of in colours in Europe. Re-inkers. They are starting to come in. Last year's we still haven't got this year's. Please bring those as well. And stamps. These are my weird system of how to find things. So the first catalogue I ever had, I am now in my 12th year as a demonstrator. And so originally there were categories in the catalogue, and that's what these dots refer to. They are long gone, but in my head it still works. So we've got nature, and the red ones are greetings, and the blue ones are occasions, and so on. So that's what these are categorised as, but it just helps me find things sometimes. It makes more sense to me than kind of alphabetical order or something. There's some more stamps down there. A few retired ones at the back. I really don't keep much retired, but there are a few little retired ones in there. And bits and pieces. And down at the bottom are completed projects that usually get donated or get given to my lovely class ladies. So moving along. So now we're coming on to the area where I work. So as I say, I've got a big U-shaped tabletop area where I stand and do my designing and cutting. So the first cabinet up here has full unopened packs of cardstock in various colours. And then we've got the scoreboard, which I use all the time, and some extra scoring tools, because when it gets very crowded on these tables, and it does, then you can never find your scoring tools. So and that's something I lose, so I've got extras. This one is full of festive dies, and this whole thing goes back in the cupboard after the festive season. I'm filming November 2020. Have I already said that? I may have done. And this one is embossing folders and the plate for embossing. This one is die cutting plates. This one, the rest of these are all dies just by size, because this I've squeezed this tin a bit so you can get the square ones in. And my lovely Stampin' Cut and Emboss, which in Elizabeth's craft room we call the Handyman. My lovely lady's named it. Okay, above I've got just a little display area with some things that Stampin' Up have given me over the years, a couple of things I've made, and a little bit of Disney going on, because I'm a bit of a fan of Walt Disney World. And then down in the corner, got all my blends and some ribbon. When I set up this craft room, it was before we did any storage from Stampin' Up, so this comes from Stampin' Storage in the States. But yeah, I use that. I've got my, in here I've got my watercolour pencils, and underneath some extra blends for classes. And down here I've got my supply of blocks. And this is my upstairs supply of blocks. I also have a downstairs supply of blocks for when I am teaching in person, but those are the ones that I reach for. But this stand works quite well for me, because I've got too many for the Stampin' Up storage caddy. So because I use lots and lots, and as I say, I fill these desks completely up with stuff, and then I clear it all up again. This is a bit of a mishmash in here, but I'll try and show you what I can. In these boxes I've got my, these are great boxes for this actually. These are all my brayers, my sponge brayers, and these were from kit boxes. Work perfectly for storing the brayers. That's quite hard to do with one hand. Let's pop that up there. Then underneath I've got sponges and daubers in the back, and duplicate ink pads for when I'm teaching. These are various 3D boxes and things like that from the catalogue. And then, oh, a horrible mess of all sorts of bits and pieces up there, and empty boxes, and last year's planners. My view I look out on. Usually it's all trees in the winter, in the summer, but in the winter you can see through a little bit more. But I look down into my garden. But mostly I'm looking down at the desk. Okay, so as we go across, what I haven't shown you is underneath. So down at the bottom I've got adhesives in large quantities, things for team training, and copy paper. And in this one, I've got more envelopes and various boxes for events and things like that. Some folders. This one here is usually full of stuff for packing orders, but a lot of that is at the moment is downstairs. So I've got some bags in there that I take to events and things, and some display materials. And up at the top, this is less used storage, so we've got retired ink colours, because they sometimes come back. We've got various miscellaneous electronics, very dull. We've got a bag which I use when I go to training events. And then this one here has got various tools. It's got my Stamparatus and other bits and pieces, and some boxes up there. This is all a bit messy, and to be honest, this is on my things to do, clear this out. I've got some heat embossing things in here, and tissues and wipes and things like that. Okay. These drawers are full of, again, bits and pieces. So I've got pens and stationery and things in the top here. And then this has got, again, random tools. Usually this is full of pre-cut card layers, but as you can see, I've used them all up and the time has come to cut some more. And down here, these plastic bags are all reused and reused and reused packing for classes. So that's what those are. The corner down here is packaging materials of various sorts and ink cartridges. And down here I've got my my bins, and then at the back are more bins, but I use them for storing bags for packing my orders. And then the really pretty bit I'm going to finish with is all my ink pads, which I love this. I don't like the fact I've got 2 holes here. That's because I've got stuff out ready to do for a live that I'm just about to do. But again, this is Stampin' Storage before we had our Stampin' Up organisers. And then this is how I keep my scraps. So again, in colour families. And then I put them into file folders, label them up, and then I always reach for those before I cut into a new piece of card. This little rotary thing is really useful, and I think it's from Pampered Chef. I seem to recall it's from Pampered Chef. I don't know if they still do them, but that has got lots and lots, as you can see, lots and lots of things in there that I would use. And then on this shelf I have the stamps that I'm using right now, so this would be stuff out of the current catalogues or things that are new into the craft room that I'm wanting to work with. And a little bit of display and my gran and grandpa, and a happy box of happy thoughts up at the top there. And finally, very important in a craft room, I've got my vacuum cleaner, I've got my Dyson, and right down at the bottom, this is a super heavy duty cutting machine that will cut 40 pieces of cardstock at once, and I need that sometimes. Don't know whether I mentioned, but this is set up at the moment. This stuff is not usually here, but this is here because I'm just about to do a live. And so this is my little live setup, and that thing that's hanging down, again, that's not there all the time, but that's going to hold my camera for my overhead camera for showing that. And I think the only thing I haven't mentioned is the bits and pieces that are along the back here. And this is basically stuff that I reach for all the time. So take your pick tools are in here, brushes, spritzers, all the adhesives that I use all the time. Sorry about the wires, that's they're not, again, not usually here. And yeah, little pots of clips and things, and then scraps of Very Vanilla and Whisper White, and then whole sheets of vanilla and white, thick and regular. And here, yeah, this is the other thing that gets lost on my desk all the time. So I've got lots of scissors and lots of bone folders, and bling. This is all full of various blings. So and my heat gun. So I think that is it. I think I've gone all the way round. If you've got any questions, do let me know. You can leave me a message below if you're watching on YouTube, or below on my blog, or below on Facebook, depending on where you're watching this. But I hope you like it. I think I am very, very lucky to work in such a lovely environment. Consider myself very lucky to work here, and it is a very good and easy place to work. But I must show you some pictures of what it looks like when I've actually been working in it, because it gets in a right mess. Thank you for visiting Elizabeth's Craft Room today. Take care.